welcome back to Lit Like Sage. It is me, Mother, and I wanted to say once again, Happy Black History Month. But with that being said, I wanted to touch on the subject matter of history versus heritage. So I was scrolling through TikTok earlier and I came across a video of a young lady, a black young lady, and I believe her name on TikTok is Queen Nicola. It's no, it's Goddess Nicola. It's Goddess underscore Nicola. And she brought up some amazing points about like just the verbiage that we use to describe the day. Like I said, Black History Month versus Heritage Month. And then she ran down the list of other cultures and how the word heritage is used to celebrate their day as opposed to the word history. You have Irish American Heritage Month, you have Polish American Heritage Month, you have Hispanic Heritage Month, Asian and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. The only two cultures that I saw on the list that she read off that had history versus heritage was Filipino and Black. We have Black History Month and they have Filipino History Month. And I think that it's it's not a coincidence that we are melanated people and we have history as opposed to heritage. And if I'm not wrong, which I don't think I am, Filipino, which is the most melanated Asian race or culture, also have history instead of heritage. So I just thought that that was interesting. The words themselves, because it made me do like a deep dive in the literal definition of the words, because I always think that there's something to everything. There's a reason why we use the language that we use. Y'all know I'm real witchy woo woo. That's the whole reason for this channel, okay? Words that you speak are literal spells. So by constantly using the word history and saying Black History Month, year after year after year after year, are we almost freezing ourselves in time? At like, that's the only thing that they want to focus on is what happened to us in the past, as opposed to teaching people ourselves along with other cultures what we do now and how we've thrived since then. So the word history in itself is rooted in not only racism as far as we're concerned, but also patriarchy, because of the even the prefixes of the word history and heritage, his and her. And you know, I'm very much down with the patriarchy as well. So again, it just had me go into a deep dive of like the literal definitions of the word. So when you think about history, you automatically think about things that happened in the past, not what's currently happening. You think about things that are happening in the past, and it's almost like that's where they want us to stop. Slavery, civil rights, and that's where the buck stops for Black people. And that's so not true. We have thrived since then. Are we where we need to be? Absolutely not. But that's not where our story ended. We didn't end in civil rights. We're still here. So even the fact of calling it history as if we no longer exist is a problem in itself, along with all the other cultures being able to celebrate their heritage versus their history. History implies, again, that it's no longer happening, that it's something that we survived, which is true, but again, it has such the connotation that it's not happening anymore on it, and I think that that's a problem. Heritage is lived. History is done with. Heritage is lived. We can talk about our lineage, our culture, our food, our music, all of the things that keep us going right now today is what should be celebrated. And we don't have big festivals and things like that. We have the month, and there are things that happen around different cities and things like that to celebrate Black history, but it's not a huge festival as far as like, this is for us, this is what we do as Black Americans, and we're all out having a big, huge cookout and stuff like that. That doesn't happen. It's solely based on who were civil rights activists, what happened to the slaves, and that's it. We don't get a chance to, we don't celebrate who we are as a people right now today. And I think that that is a huge issue. I know for me, once that was brought into my head, I was like, you know what? I'm going to start making a very conscious effort to start calling it Black Heritage Month as opposed to Black History Month, because I think that words are spells, and constantly calling it that, I think that that helps keep it help keep us stuck into a certain space, you know. So I would love if everybody just added that into their language and start calling it Black Heritage Month, and maybe it'll change in a few years. I know that when I was in school, there was no Indigenous People Day. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm not really sure if they changed Columbus Day to Indigenous People Day, or if those are two separate days, because I've been out of school for quite a while now. But I don't know if they're two different days or not. But what I do know is there was no Indigenous People Day when I was in school, and now there is one. So hopefully I'll be around to see it change from Black History Month to Black Heritage Month. Also, the word history being rooted in patriarchy, I am very much, man, down with the patriarchy, because it's just so rooted in like war and domination and colonizing and things like that. And to be honest with you, matriarchal knowledge is a huge part of Black history, Black heritage. See how hard it is to deconstruct Black heritage, because it was the mothers and the grandmothers and the aunts and the babysitters or the midwives that taught you stories, that told you stories that were handed down to you. I can vividly remember my grandmother sitting me and my siblings down and just singing songs that were like folk tales. It was a song, but she was telling a story. The women were doing that. Not only to mention the erasure of who knows how many women that were actually on the front lines of the civil rights movement. Usually we have women that we would talk about, but it's almost like a few were added each year. We didn't get all of them at one time, like we got Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., Muhammad Ali and Medgar Eggers and all. We didn't get them all at one time. Everything was like, okay, Rosa Parks, and then 2 or 3 years later, Mary McLeod Bethune, and then a couple of years later, Madam C.J. Like, it was, we learned about the women that did things very few and far in between. So I'm sure that there's a plethora of women that we have no clue about that were actually like on the front lines of what was going on. Most of the time, the only women that you hear about are women that were tied to those men, their wives, Coretta Scott King, people like that. But I'm almost for certain it's probably a whole slew of women that we have no idea about. So that's another thing. Language is so important. That's why it's a good thing to know definitions of words, where the word comes from. If you don't know what a word means, look it up. I do that all the time. I think that's just because my head is kind of screwy. But like if I'm watching a show and someone says a word and I don't know what that word means, I am going to Google it. I'm going to look it up, because I don't like hearing words and not knowing the meanings of them. And learning the meanings, they're going to tell you where it came from, why they chose to put, if it's, a word from one or two or more different cultures, they're going to tell you why they put those words together to create that one word. And then you'll be able to use it in different contexts, or just know the definition as a whole, because knowing what you're saying is very, very important, because the universe is extremely literal, extremely literal. So you have to be very, very careful what you say. And so with that being said, I'm going to make a decision. Yeah, as far as me and my circle and what I'm gonna move forward with, like teaching my kids and stuff, I'm definitely gonna be using the word Black Heritage Month as opposed to Black History, because I want to make sure that they know that things did not stop for us. We are still here. We didn't go away after the civil rights movement. We're still here. We're still thriving. We're still doing all of the things. There's still a million activists. There's still a million inventors, a million creators, a million singers and artists and all of the things. So it did not stop, and that's what the word history implies, is that it's over, and it is not over. We are still very much living and thriving and doing all of the things, and I think that is important to make sure that we speak that over ourselves so it can be acknowledged. And make sure that y'all celebrate. Start celebrating Black Heritage Month in any way you can, even if it's just one day out of the month. Have a cookout with all of your good friends. Have a movie night where all you do is sit around and watch your favorite what are they called? Like um your favorite black classic movies, or whether it's hood movies or rom-coms or whatever the case may be. Do something to celebrate it, because that helps us move forward and keep moving forward. Yes, the history is important, because you don't know where you're going until you know where you have been. And a lot of kids that are coming up now, because it was taken out of school and what was in school was already very watered down as it is, we have to teach them in the home what was going on and give it to them the real deal and the raw of what really happened, because we don't want them blindsided with some stuff that they don't even know about happened to them or happened to their ancestors. So that teaching is gonna come from in the home. You can't look for anybody on the outside to do that, especially not in school. So, like I said, it was just very interesting to me. I'm so glad that I came across that young lady's TikTok, because it really like grabbed my attention, because I never thought about that before, that we use the word history as opposed to heritage. So that's why it's always good to keep your mind open to learning new things and read and listen. You never stop learning. And even if it's not a learning thing, it could be like a light bulb goes off, and then you think about, what, why do we use that word? Everybody, I'm pretty sure, knows the definition, but when you put it in the context of this particular subject matter, it does make you think. And or it should make you think as to, why do we say it like that as opposed to this, especially when everyone else is doing something else. We always being left out or made to think something different or taught to do something different, and it ends up being a detriment to us. Words are spells. Who knows what that's doing to us by constantly saying our history, our history, our history, as opposed to heritage. So that's all I wanted to pop in and say. And I hope you guys have a wonderful February. I hope everyone has a good Valentine's Day. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing on Valentine's Day. I don't. Who knows? Whatever. But that's a story time for a different time. But I hope everyone celebrates however you want to. I hope you get all of the things. And again, have fun. Enjoy the month. I hope that we are done with the snow. Oh, yeah, I'm out of the house, y'all. Last time I made a video, I was still snowed in. I am out. I'm back at work, but I'm out the house driving around. It took probably a full week to be able to start driving around, and it took me a week and 2 days to start driving myself around, because like I told y'all before, mother don't play on that ice. So I had to wait until it was damn near entirely gone before I started driving myself around. But yeah, and we've had a couple of like springy days. Like we had the temperature get up to like the 60s a couple of times, and that's great, because I thrive in warm weather, even though I'm born in February. And that's another thing that I wanted to say, baby. The biggest flex I have is being a black melanated beautiful woman that was born in Black Heritage Month. That's a flex. And don't let nobody tell you that it ain't. So all my good sisters that are born in February, you got it. But yeah, even though I was born in February, I am a creature of warmth and sun and all of those things. So I'm very much ready for winter to be over and for spring to go ahead and kick in because I have plans for the summer and the spring. I got festivals to go to. I got food truck festival. I got mimosa festival. I got cocktail festival. I think I think there's a Memphis cocktail festival coming up and a crawfish festival. All of the things. I'm here for all the food festivals. Because mother likes to eat all of the time and all of the things. Well, not all of the things, but most of the things. I'll try all of the things, except for chitlins. I'm not. I've never been a chitlin girl, and I just can't do it. But other than that, I'm open to it. But I am tired because I've had my day ain't been no different than any other, to be honest with you. I'm just tired. I was finna say I've had a long, busy day, but I ain't. I was finna lie to y'all real quick. But I am tired and I do have to go to work in the morning. But again, I just wanted to pop in and drop a seed really quick. And if you like my videos, please like, comment, subscribe so I can grow this channel because this is what I want to keep doing. Oh, like, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe because later on in the week I will be going to get a tarot reading. It will be my first one. I actually want to learn how to do tarot readings myself. I have a deck of tarot cards in my Amazon cart that I'm going to get soon because I want to start teaching myself the things and what the cards mean so I can start doing readings. But I'm going to get a reading on myself probably Friday or Saturday. So stay tuned for a come with me video for that as well. And that's all I got for y'all. And when I got some more, I'll come back. Y'all stay lit.